I'm Pat Doris. Welcome to The Story. All the ways to contact us right there at the bottom of your screen. You can email thestory@kgw.com or call our phone number and leave a message. The number is 503-226-5090. We're coming to you from Beaverton because we're going to be talking about charter change, the change they've already made and the one that Portland is thinking about. And we're going to have an extended conversation with the mayor. And how long have you been the mayor of Beaverton?
Like a year and a half.
How long's it felt?
20.
Lacey Beatty became Beaverton's mayor January 1st of 2021. It's the same day the city changed its form of government. For the last 30 years or more, Beaverton's had what's considered a strong mayor government. The mayor ran all the city departments, had a hand in the day-to-day operations, and did the major hiring. The mayor was also the political figure. The city council set policy and approved budgets, but did not have a say in personnel decisions. Now, Beaverton has a professional city manager who runs the day-to-day operations, and Mayor Beatty and 6 other council members set policy, but are not involved in running the city. Beatty is full-time, but the rest of the city council is part-time and have no staff. Even with this change, the mayor is not sure the current form of Beaverton's government is the best one possible.
Well, I was one of the few that didn't vote for the change. It was in the middle of my election that I was running. I think part of the problem that exists now is there's no one the buck stops with, right? As a member of the council, all 7 of us are trying to direct a city manager. Getting consensus on items is challenging. And you have an unelected person basically managing everything in the city. So it is a challenging form of government to kind of operate in. If you have a council that can't get along, this form of government would be really challenging. Luckily, we do have a good form of government, but right now we only have 6 of us because one of the members resigned. So the whole time we've been in this form of government, only for 2 months have we had 7 members.
6 is a bad number for a council because if 3 want to do something but the other 3 do not, it does not happen. For example, what if you wanted to ban fireworks from the city of Beaverton?
We had a large fight last year over fireworks, whether we would ban them or not ban them when the heat dome hit. Well, because we only had 6 members, 3 voted for, 3 voted against, it failed. Fireworks didn't pass. So we would have had to have a 4-2 vote in order to make that happen.
Beatty did not like that. She's a veteran and, like many, does not enjoy the sound of the 4th of July.
We strongly recommended people not do them, which was not what this veteran would have wanted or mayor. And we had a huge community outcry asking us to ban fireworks, not just because of the heat dome, but because of the environmental impacts, dogs, everything else. And that is a small thing, but a strong mayor could have banned fireworks. In this form of government, it takes 4 of the councilors to direct the city manager to do it.
Portland's current form of government is also under review, and voters will have a chance to decide if it should change. Currently, Portland has 4 elected city commissioners plus the mayor. Each one, including the mayor, are in charge of several large bureaus and hundreds of employees. Under a proposal by the Portland Charter Review Commission, that would change to a strong mayor in charge of a professional city manager who together would run the day-to-day operations of the city. The council would expand to 12 members and set policy, but not be involved in day-to-day operations. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler told me the current system with elected officials running big departments is a bad idea.
The core problem, as I see it, is you are electing people to serve on a city council, but really what they are is managers of diverse, complicated, large business enterprises. And people who are elected to the Portland City Council may have never managed anything larger than a popsicle stand.
The result of elected officials in Portland running bureaus is they can do what they want. The mayor's only recourse is to take the bureaus away from the officials, but he cannot run them all himself. It's an obvious problem to Beaverton's mayor.
Well, I think it's that there's one person that's in charge of everything, and they're going to have their directors, but everyone reports up to one person. The way that the Portland Commission is designed now is they don't report to Ted. And so, at the end of the day, who's held accountable? And I think now it's the city manager will be held accountable. They'll have department heads running all of those divisions.
The other problem with Portland's separate bureaus and separate elected leaders is a ridiculous duplication of effort.
We have to consolidate our leadership. The silos are absolutely working against our ability to deliver the basic services that the public expects us to deliver. Just picking up the trash requires you to go through 7 different bureaus. as opposed to centralizing that service like any city would. And that's why you're seeing me pass executive directives that help me on an emergency basis to consolidate services.
Back to Beaverton's mayor, she said the new form of government is working, even though it takes a long time to make things happen. And she's not about to miss a chance to promote her city.
I think what's going great is like Beaverton is the place to be. We have a 2% commercial vacancy rate. People want to come and do business here. They want to open up their restaurants. We opened tons of restaurants during the pandemic.
Nice chatting with Beaverton's mayor. Thank you for your time, Miss Mayor. We'll keep bringing you updates on Portland's charter change, by the way, because changing a form of government, kind of a big deal. And we want you to have the latest updates. The process is underway now. The commission made its first recommendation, and now the plan is out for a series of public hearings. In the fall, there will be a final recommendation. Then Portland voters will decide whether to change things in November. So there is still lots of time to learn all about it. While we're talking about Portland and its government, I'd like to take a brief moment to take note of something that Mayor Ted Wheeler did yesterday. I and others have been critical that he's not spoken out more publicly after some of the worst incidents of violence in our city this year. But yesterday he did. He put out a video about the 4 teenagers who were shot over the weekend. One died.
Last night, 4 teenagers were shot in Southeast Portland. 3 young men had their lives changed forever, and 1 young man will never have the chance to start his adult life.
That shooting was awful, and I feel horrible for the young men and the families involved, and for the community in Southeast, which has had far too many shootings over the last year and 4 months. In my opinion, the reason it's important for the mayor and police chief and others to speak out after something like that is to let the world know that it's a big deal and it is outside the norm of what we expect for our city. They need to say it's unacceptable, and they need to ask for tips from the community, and they need to tell us what's being done to try and stop the violence. And it's okay if they say it again and again and again. Because not saying it means they've given up, that the shootings and murders are normal for Portland and the greater metro area, and they're not. According to the Oregonian newspaper, just 9 years ago, a total of 16 people were murdered in Portland. That was terrible, but it's nothing like it is now. That was a 42-year low. It does show what's possible, though. I know our city and region always growing, and some problems are harder than they used to be. But we cannot get used to the shooting and the violence and the death. We have to remain outraged, and we have to demand more action to bring the violence under control. And we need to hear from our political and law enforcement leaders to know that they are concerned and focused and refusing to accept that this is just the way it's gonna be. That's my opinion. What's yours? Send me an email at thestory@kgw.com or leave a voicemail at 503-226-5090.